much as I love Ancelotti, it's going to be 2-0 against Milan. What's his name?
Paqueta's going to score?
One Paqueta and one Cutrone.
Ooh.
Oh, everybody, and fighting. We're rising, it's all worth it, brothers and sisters. This is where we all belong. Color, same game, we all worship.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie audio experience with IFTV. Guys, today's a special day, not just because Antonio's wearing the beautiful Juventus jersey after our bet, after he lost our bet. Everyone was asking to see it, but also because we got Ludovico on. Ludo, thanks for coming on last minute.
Thank you for inviting me.
We brought you on because my
Always
dad
a
is
pleasure.
in Florida. Everybody's been asking for you. After the first time, they said, guys, bring back Ludo, bring back Ludo. I think we're going to have to replace Michael with you pretty soon.
No.
Well, it's like you got the Greek, the only Greek on the podcast.
That's the only Greek that we have. No.
Anto, how do you feel right now?
I feel bad. Number one, because I'm wearing this garbage. And number two, because a penalty was not called for us. Not even the VAR was invoked, for the call. And there was no offside on Cutrone. So in other words, it should have been Milan 3, Juventus 1.
There was only 2 episodes, we got 3 of
So
them.
We're
so
talking. We're
You want to start with the Cutrone? Where do you want to start from?
we should have started with AC Milan, should have
Okay,
won
now.
the game. End of the story.
The rule
guys.
is that if it's a doubt on the offside, let the play finish, and
then you call
even
the VAR.
if you would have scored, then of course it would have been either a silent check or it would have been a VAR check. He should have never whistled because in a doubt the linesmen are told to keep the flag down, and he didn't do that.
But they didn't do it.
So he didn't do it. It
But
was
why-
a basic error that he should have never made.
So what they're talking about, and Antonio jumped into real quick, is the Supercoppa between Juventus and Milan. The final, which, it's usually the winner of Coppa Italia against the winner of Scudetto. It was Juve for both, so Milan was the second place in there, so we just threw Milan in. Just as a
They had to play against someone. They couldn't play against themselves.
just as a
That would have
courtesy.
been Juventus, the squad
B
number,
team.
the B team, yeah.
That one, yeah, we tried to make it. That would have been too competitive, so we
Maybe.
This guy took
So anyway, it wasn't a great match though. I thought overall, it seemed like one of those preseason of what the hell was that?
I'm going to
It's your phone.
Who's calling that?
Gattuso calling me.
Gattuso's calling you.
Yeah, Gattuso can wait.
You're
Put
right.
on
At,
mute, put
at
on
times
mute.
it seemed like an over 30 game.
Yeah, it
on
seemed,
mute.
it,
Very slow. The pace was very slow.
it seemed like a preseason friendly almost. They said that the heat got to them. They were in Saudi Arabia. It was at 80, 90 degrees. So you could see that a little bit, I think, from both sides. It didn't look anything great. Because the Supercoppa in Italy, it's a little bit strange, It's not really, it's taken seriously, but it's not as respected as a big trophy. So I think that's what we saw a little bit.
It's a money generating event. First they accept to go play there, and then everybody complains about it.
Yeah.
Then nobody wants to go. It's too far away. The women, the stadium, the no. You accepted the money now. Keep
Sure.
your mouth shut and play.
But the
Sure.
stadium was sold out, right?
No, yeah.
It was one of those
completely
games
sold
that
out.
you enjoy a 30-minute nap, and you don't miss anything when you wake up.
No, he's right. He's
You're right. I agree.
I think
Ludo,
somebody
I
in
rarely
the
agree
group
with you, but
actually
this
did
time
that.
I agree. Thank you.
No, it's good. No, it's true because that's one thing that we were saying too. Some people that were not fans of Serie were watching it. It wasn't a great representation of what's to come. But again, it's one of those games in Italy. Ronaldo, decisive in his first final, scores the header. I know that you don't like Antonio already got mad when I said that. But it was an important one, and I think that we did see episodes of VAR that should have been looked at on both sides of the spectrum. That I think that we often see in Italy, where they don't check one, or they do check one, or they say they do the silent check. And we had a similar case this week with Roma Torino. I don't know if you guys saw in this one. There was a play, a ball was sent in. Torino hit the guy's chest. I mean, to me, it looked clear that it hit his chest. Some people said that it hit his arm. They let the play go on. Torino ended up going on to score, and this was one of the cases where they didn't blow the whistle right away. They let VAR do its silent check. They didn't see it, and it was correct. And then there was another case in that one that was a little bit weird. But anyway, overall, as a game, I think that there wasn't too much to commentate on. Gattuso did get disqualified for the match that Milan had, but they got to win in that one too. And I think we move on to Serie A round. That there's still a lot to talk about.
Okay,
right?
wait. Once before we put a stone on this one here, we move on to the Serie A.
Yeah.
On the play,
I didn't know there was a stone.
listen to me. On the play that Donnarumma, took the goal from Cristiano Ronaldo. Don't you think he was a little confused whether Ronaldo was offside and all the stuff? Because the ball was clearly on his range. I don't think he made a clear attempt to save the ball because he was almost sure that the guy was offside.
That's not a. You're not supposed
Nah,
to
it's
do
not
It
a good
that.
wasn't.
excuse.
It was too close for him to react. It was too close for him to react, even though it was close to his body. But it was too close to react from where he took the actual header. But here's another episode. So why do you pick up your flag on Cutrone and you don't pick up the flag and you keep your flag down on the Ronaldo goal? See, you have similar with, well, this is not a similar episode, but what Marco was saying before, you have similar episodes that happen in multiple games, and not all the episodes get interpreted the same way by VAR. Some get looked at, some only by silent check, and some not even the referee says, I saw everything, I don't want to hear nobody, leave me alone, continue.
But see, the referee should not be in charge of deciding those things. He should be overruled all the time. Somebody has to be constantly checking on the VAR because the referee could have a problem.
I
Could have
think there was a case in another league. I think it was in the Real Madrid game, if I remember correctly. And they did the same thing. They pulled the flag up, and it was not offsides. They ended up checking that it shouldn't have been stopped. You know, the game should have just been played on, which is what the VAR is supposed to be there for. You play on, and then you check. You do the silent check. But we have seen mistakes, and I think we still continue to see mistakes, even though there is, sometimes improvement. But anyway.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Lazio against Napoli. I was actually with the Lazio club of New York yesterday and watching this game, and it was a crazy match. The amount of posts that Napoli hit was unbelievable. But to me, one of the big storylines has been Milik. I think that Milik, we talked a lot about Napoli needing a striker. It's been a similar theme for them. Complaints that De Laurentiis didn't buy Cavani. Should you buy Cavani? But this is 8 games in all competitions and 8 goals for Milik in his last 8 games. Ludo.
I agree.
What do you
We
think
haven't
about
seen,
him?
well, the past 2 years, we haven't seen Milik at all with the 2 major injuries he had. So this the final year that he's healthy, is feeling confident. Sarri left, and for Milik, it helped because Sarri was always using the usual 11 players. Now, everybody with Ancelotti, they feel important. And Milik, like I said before, he's very healthy now, and he's finally playing. I mean, yesterday he was a universal center forward. He was coming back to receive the ball with the back against the net. He was playing the ball one touch, playing it to the side with the header, shooting from the outside. He really enjoyed. You could see himself that he had a great game. But most of all, he's healthy, and let's hope he keeps it that way because he's been really unlucky the past couple of years with major injuries that kept him out.
And I thought it was a very important match because if you think about how many players Napoli lacked in such a difficult match against Lazio, I mean, Koulibaly was not there, Insigne was not there, Hamsik was not there.
But this is what we've been saying all along, Marco. The philosophy of Ancelotti and De Laurentiis, those are the real winners. De Laurentiis, when he find out that Sarri was being a little, in Italy means c'ha un naso un poco alzato. That means this guy here, he stinks too much. So what they did, they ship him out. I think De Laurentiis, I respect this guy here so much. He didn't want to take any crap. I don't know. Can we
You're
say
only
crap?
saying that because he bought
we can say
body,
crap.
right?
Okay, so we can say crap on the court, guys. He didn't want to take crap from Sarri. So his attitude is just go ship him out. Ancelotti is the perfect coach for Napoli. He's using everybody, including the water boys, into the field. The fact that Insigne is not playing is not a factor. The fact that sometimes Mertens is not playing is not a factor. The fact that Koulibaly is not playing sometimes is not a factor. And the results are very clear. And this is a team that if Juventus makes a little mistake, so he slips a little bit, he can still challenge Juventus.
I completely disagree with you. You can say, okay, Sarri is a different type of coach. He used only 11 players, or he didn't really use a lot of subs. But the guy was this close from winning the Scudetto last year. The Napoli played amazing. They will win these games. They will win the head-to-head. They just weren't able to reach Juventus' level, which is...
It is another level.
Is another level.
Juventus is another level.
To say
We have
that
to admit it. Juventus is another level.
To say that Sarri was terrible or doesn't know what he's doing is completely wrong. I can understand that you say, Ancelotti is more versatile in the sense that he doesn't have to play the same players or he doesn't have to play the same formation. Like versus Lazio, they play more of a 4-4-2, right? Milik was the target striker. Milik last year, Sarri did not have to use because of injury problems. And, I just don't... I feel like you're talking way too...
No. Let me just
negative against Sarri.
I deserve a reply. Do I? Okay. Let me reply to you.
You're a criminal.
Let me reply to you. Okay, let me reply to you. Okay, first of all, his failure was big. Because number one, you just give up on the competition before you out. This guy here is at UEFA. I said, we're not interested in the UEFA because he was almost 100% sure that he was going to win the Campionato. He wore out the players. You know when you have a car that has a tire that says, okay, the tire can go 25,000 miles. This guy here, he put Insigne and everybody else, Mertens, he wore them out with a 70,000 miles instead of 25,000 miles. The guy, they ran out of rubber. So they had nothing left.
Yeah. You guys are both right.
To me, it was the most stupid thing to do. Okay?
Well,
it was bad. A good coach doesn't do that. A good coach knows how to manage the mileage of the tires. As I said, I want to get to the end. I want to go from Parigi to Dakar, okay, with the same amount.
They were
with
four games away.
Ludo, what do you think?
That's a lot.
I think
a lot. That's a lot, Pete.
I think Napoli has a little bit of everything. Let's not forget that Napoli is a very young team. You had the coach Rea. He came back. He took Napoli from let's say, from the Inferno. Took Napoli to paradise, back to Serie A. Then you got a coach like Mazzarri. Never give up. Give 150%. Then you got a coach like Sarri, La Grande Bellezza, the beautiful way of playing. Even though you always play the same way, like you said, you wore everybody out. Now here comes Ancelotti that picks up a little bit from everybody in the past. Don't forget that Napoli is a great group, has a great group of players. Those players, they're like brothers in a locker room. And when a coach already goes to a team and finds that atmosphere in the locker room, that you have 20 players that hang out, technically speaking, every single night, they go out together with families, restaurants, they enjoy being together. Not like Juventus. Juventus is a factory. You go there, you punch in, and you go home. That's the difference. So now, Ancelotti, what he had to do was, okay, I already have this group, and even when you watch the Napoli games today, you still see Sarri's hand in the way they pass, the one touch, the positioning, the way they open to each other, the way the ball gets maneuvered around the field. Now you got a guy like Fabian Ruiz that is a universal midfielder. That guy can play every position in midfielder. And I personally think he's much better than Pogba, by far, my opinion. If Pogba was sold for 125 million, this guy's worth at least 150, my opinion. This guy could do anything. He has strength. He has legs. He has technical abilities, visual.
And he has a shot too. He has a shot.
He has a shot from the
outside.
Agent.
You can sell him for a lot.
Universal. He is. He's a great player. So Ancelotti, basically, he already found the bed half made. So for him, it was only the work that Ancelotti had to do was to create a variety of ways of playing, like Peter just said, but also worked on their psychological approach, that now everyone is important in the roster.
Not just 11 players.
Not just 11 players.
No, I think you guys are all saying the same thing in a little bit
different ways. But this is the way I see it.
I agree with all of you guys, and I think that talking with a lot of Napoli fans and seeing the optimism around, saying, listen, we want to compete in Europa League. And Ancelotti's a coach who knows how to compete and handle a team in multiple fronts. And Sarri just didn't have as much experience as he had, but it doesn't take away from what Sarri achieved and what Sarri did with the team.
It was more of a technique to do that. Like, he was just being for real with himself, even though I agree with Antonio in terms of you should have to treat every competition as its own, as in you got to play it 100% and all. Sarri knew he didn't have the depth like Juventus to play in all fronts, and he wanted to put all his eggs in one basket and really push for the Scudetto, something he was extremely close of doing. And I just thought it was just a technique to do it, and I don't blame him at all. It was very smart on his part if you look at it. And how close was he to winning it? It was a 90.
Not close enough. Was not close enough.
Never happened before.
It was like a 9.
We've talked about this a lot. I want to talk about Milik. I want to hear your opinion on Milik. Can we see Milik become a top striker in Serie A and in the world? I know he has to stay healthy, but I think that he's shown great signs, especially I love the pairing. I love Milik on the pitch. Rather, if you had to choose between him and Mertens, if you're doing the 4-4-2 and you choose Insigne and Milik, I like that better than Insigne and Mertens. What do you think, Ludo,
and
about
he's turning
that?
25.
And then everybody else.
He's turning 25 next month.
Well, they can both. The thing is, what Ancelotti said about Mertens and Insigne, those guys, they were playing on the left side, and Mertens was playing in the middle. Insigne was doing a lot of running because according to the way Sarri wanted to play, Insigne had to come back and be a fullback, which now he doesn't do anymore. Because
closer to the
Ancelotti
goal.
thinks if you come back to you come back to defend and then on a counter attack and you do 60, 70 meters,
You're not gonna have enough juice.
you're not going to have enough juice to take the shot or to be effective on the net. So now Ancelotti put him in the middle. So Milik now, the way he does is he comes back and he gets the ball. They interchange each other. So if it's Insigne playing behind Milik, Milik goes deep and Insigne goes deep and Milik comes back. See, he has different ways that he can play. Zielinski can play the left, but he could also play the middle. Fabian Ruiz can play the right side, substituting Allen, but he could also play the left side. So he has way of changing his pins, his players on the field according to his opponent. Like I agree.
How many games did we play so far?
20.
20.
20 rounds.
Ancelotti had 20 different formation. He never put it exactly the same formation into the field. So
Ancelotti-
what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That the guy is getting everybody involved. He values everybody input into the team, and he's actually experimenting with some of the players that they were never used by Sarri, like Zielinski. Zielinski is one of the best players that I have seen.
No, Zielinski was coming.
I
Zielinski
can't
was
believe it.
He
That
was
Sarri never used this guy.
He was using
very
14
rarely.
players.
Very rarely.
He was
He was
using
one of the players
14
that he
players.
used.
He was using the usual 14 players. But let's not forget, last year we did not have Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah.
We did not have Verdi.
And now Jorginho left.
Jorginho left.
which was a big one.
Right, and then he changed. He tried to put Amsic there, but I think even with Diawara or Fabian Ruiz and Alan, and he changed a little bit the position of Callejon on the right side. Callejon is not doing the same thing that he used to do with Sarri.
Right.
And Pepe
When he
Reina
used to
too.
play-
He switched within 3 goalkeepers: Ospina, Carnesis, and Meret.
I liked Pepe Reina. Pepe Reina was a great locker room player, which I'm sure he is also in Milan, keeping the group together, motivating them in the locker room. He's great at that.
He did stupid mistakes.
Yes, correct. He's not consistent on a weekly basis,
yeah.
on a game basis. He didn't have that consistency that Meret and Ospina and even the Greek goalkeeper showed in a couple of occasions when he was called to play.
I got a quick question for you, and then we close
Yeah,
the
we gotta
argument. Put
move
the
on.
stone on top of this
Yeah.
Sarri.
we didn't even-
Okay.
Wait, it's a question for all of you actually.
Okay.
Tell me what you think about Sarri with his, with his comment after the game, after he got his butt kicked in the English Premier League, that goes into the press conference, and he does the press conference in Italian. He says, "Sono incazzato." Incazzato in Italian means
Pissed off.
I'm pissed off. Okay, so when you're starting with an attitude like that, number one, you're getting paid a lot of money by Chelsea, okay? Number two, you're starting to speak in Italian, because I have to say it in Italian because I'm so pissed. Number three, I don't think this guy is going to be finished the Campionato, the English Premier League with Chelsea. Or if he finish, this is the only year that is going to be coaching that team. Instead of taking blame for the fact that he lost in prima persona, we say in Italian, but in the first place.
You mean taking responsibility?
Take responsibility. He blamed the rest of the team for lack of intensity, for lack of trying.
He specifically said
So-
that my team is lacking a mentality and that the players are not giving everything that
What
they
is your
have.
take on that, Ludo?
And he said
I
this
agree
open
that
to
the players
media.
are not giving 100%. You could tell right away when players go on the field and mentally they're not prepared and they're not motivated enough. Now, whether he can communicate with these players, even David Luiz said, the locker room is with him. It's going to take time for him to get his point across. Let's not forget that the Arsenal had more motivation to win the game because they actually needed those 3 points. So they came on the field, and how do you try to beat Sarri the way he plays on a possession 4-3-3? You got to pressure high, so you don't make Jorginho get the ball that he does 2,000 passes a game. So Arsenal did that very well. It was not, Chelsea was not good enough in playing fast enough in order to overcome that pressure. And Sarri thought they cannot keep it up for 90 minutes, which they basically did.
But maybe you didn't understand my question. Maybe Peter
question
did
was,
understand
I
a
don't
little
think
better.
it should be
But
Sarri, that should be
should you
more-
be saying that on the press conference where everybody's looking at you?
You're
Said,
saying
okay,
instead of saying
let
it
me do
behind
that.
closed
Let me
doors.
do that on private with my guys. I said, you guys, you go into the locker room, you started to get nasty. I said, you guys are a bunch of idiots and all the stuff. But you don't go in front of on primetime TV and you're starting to to blame the players without taking the blame yourself first.
No,
in
I agree with you. I
Well,
agree
Pete,
with
what
you.
would you do?
but-
No, I mean I agree with the sense that if I was a coach, I wouldn't say it outside the locker room in that sense. But it all depends on what you're trying to get at. If you're trying to get a reaction out of your players, sometimes they have to hear something. He didn't pinpoint one player or another player. I mean, we've seen other coaches that did the same thing before. Definitely, I think he wanted to say in Italian because he didn't want it to get misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So he said it completely in Italian, said what he had to say, and pretty much gave it out to his players. Unfortunately, it's part of his job to motivate the players. So if his team is not motivated, there's a reason for it. There's something that he's not doing good enough. Chelsea is a whole different animal than Napoli. Chelsea, these players have won important titles. They had great coaches in the past. They're all starters on the national team, and they go far within the national teams. So the whole team is different. Napoli, on the other hand, they have great players, but they don't have as much experience winning or experience with different coaches. So the locker rooms change there. Okay, so you have to try to earn the respect.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I thought, like, when he started, he won 8 straight. They didn't lose. Then it's been a last couple of months where Chelsea hasn't been able to really.
Same thing happened to
perform.
Guardiola too.
So it'll be interesting to see.
It's going to take
I
it's
think
going
it'll
to
take
take a
time.
little time for him, but let's not forget also Sarri's team. If we look in the past, Sarri's team, January and December and January, they always struggled because remember they start in August 150 miles an hour. The way they play,
And then they run out of gas.
Well, and then they finish strong in the spring. But in the wintertime, Sarri's team
take a dip.
Right, they take a dip physically. They take
So-
they do take, but it's going to take time. He's not going to get fired. It's going to take time. His major
What do you think? What do you think, Ludo? He's going to make it the third, fourth place, fifth?
Yes, he has to finish. He has to get to Champions League.
What if he doesn't? What if he doesn't finish?
gotta give him a
But
year.
don't worry, he's getting Higuain right now, his favorite player, so he's going to be scoring 40 goals for him.
Chelsea has been having problems the last 25 meters in the box.
So-
Chelsea has been.
So you think
having
Higuain is
issues
going to solve the
about,
problem for him? Yes, no, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know the way Higuain can play in the English league. It's a different league. Yes, they do give him more space, so I'm not worried about him scoring goals. Because if somebody can score goals in Italy, you could score goals in the other leagues because the defenders, they don't defend as
Closely as we do.
close and man to man, and they give
Okay.
you more space, so he should be able to do. Now we have to see how Higuain will
With
become-
Hazard and all the
everybody
rest.
else in the locker room.
Now, if you put Higuain on the pitch, who would you sacrifice for him?
Already, Morata's out.
Morata is out. But
Morata's
Morata
out
was
for
not playing
Atletico.
period to begin with.
No,
So
he was.
who would you
He
take?
was playing.
Yeah, but
He was a
rarely.
striker.
No, he was.
You put
was
20
a
minutes,
striker.
half an hour here and there.
No. He was
he
a
has
starting striker.
Giroud, and now he's going to have Higuain.
Giroud's been complaining that he doesn't get time because of Sarri.
So maybe Chelsea's
Morata
going
was-
to try to
was
ship
starting.
Giroud out.
No, I think. Listen, Sadi, we did it. We have a new segment that we're doing, Ludo, by the way, and Peter. We did IFTV debates. So we did me versus Antonio as the first episode. People sent in topics. We debated 5 topics, and we had to go. Whoever said one thing, you had to go on the opposite and convince why it was there. So we said, "Will Higuain do well at Chelsea?" He says no. I said yes. And the debate was, can he do good there? So everybody knows mine and Antonio's opinion, but Ludo and Peter and Mike, what do you guys think, real quick?
Sure.
Do you think he can?
Higuain is a very particular player. He's very fragile mentally, and Higuain, in order for him to perform, he needs to have constant hugs and kisses and feel important and feel in the middle of a project.
Sarri does that best, right?
So with Napoli, he was a god. When Napoli was a god, and everybody was playing
Praising
for him, and he scored 36 goals. He has a record. Then he went to Juventus. He could not be in the middle of a project because now Juventus is a project. Everyone is part of the project. So now he felt a little bit
Outside.
and then of course Juventus went to him without even saying anything. Here's the door. Goodbye. Thank you very much. You're gone. Without saying anything. Without saying like De Laurentiis did. Oh, you're fat. You got to lose a couple of pounds. Or what's his name? Leonardo coming out and saying, oh, you have to take responsibility. You have to do more. You have to run more. Juventus doesn't do that. Juventus comes to you and says, "Thank you very much,
Goodbye.
you're out." It's
So
it's
how's
a
he going to do
factory.
at Chelsea now?
Chelsea, if Sarri and the rest of the team will make him feel important and needed and wanted in the locker room, and well, Sarri already knows the way Sarri is going to make him play. Sarri has nothing to teach him. It also going to depend how the locker room will accept him, and if he could put part of his fragile temperament
Aside,
of that, the issues that he has. Because remember, Higuain is not the player that takes the responsibility. He's not the player that takes the team on his shoulders and takes him from point A to point B. He will not do that. He does not have that psychological approach. He does not have that mental approach. He's not a responsible player.
Big question for all of you.
Wait, let Peter
on.
let Peter
No, wait.
say. Let Peter
Big-
say.
No, it's the
about
question,
Higuain.
and then Peter goes. This is important. It just came to my mind. I don't want to lose my thought.
Go.
Write it down.
You have Jorginho over here, you have Hazard over here, and you are 2-on-1. Jorginho over here, Hazard over here, and Higuain over here. If you're Jorginho, who do you give the ball?
Whoever's open.
Both of them. They're
Yo,
both open.
Peter, what do you think about Higuain?
You have to have a strong spinal cord. And
strong spinal cord.
Yes, every team. If you don't have a strong spinal cord, you don't go nowhere.
I'll tell you the reasons why I'm asking this question. Tell me now if Hazard is going to have to wind up sharing 50% of the passes.
No, we're
between
talking about a
him
number
and
9 and
Higuain
number 10.
And
Different
Sarri plays
players.
behind.
Let's not waste time on that.
Sarri plays behind.
Peter.
Hazard plays behind the forward.
Peter, what do you think about Higuain at
No,
Chelsea?
I mean, I agree with what Ludo was saying as far as Higuain's mental state right now is 0. So, I mean, I think it was a shock for him going from Juventus to Milan. You know, he was, ready to win Champions League with Juventus. The ambition was to win Champions League, win
He didn't win the
Scudetto.
Champions League, by the
To
way.
now, but I'm saying to now
Got the Scudetti.
try to get 4th spot if that
If you're lucky.
if for
If you're
Milan
lucky.
for Milan, and he had a lot more responsibility, different type of players, and so on. So I think he was upset about the move. He never really fit in Milan, and I think personally I have a feeling that he's gonna do well in Chelsea because he knows Sarri's system. He's a player that can guarantee you at least 15 goals. I would even say 20 goals in a full season. And in England, with Chelsea, he's gonna be with a lot better players than he was in Milan. You have Willian, Hazard, Jorginho. He already knows,
service.
so he's gonna get service. He's the type of player I think, as far as finishing is concerned, he's up there with Icardi. He can score a lot of goals. He's also made a lot of mistakes in the past. Don't get me wrong, but all strikers make mistakes. On pressure situations, yes. In the final for the World Cup, he missed versus Germany. The goal versus Germany. The to get 4th place in Champions League with Napoli, he missed the penalty.
Yeah.
So I mean,
With AC
there's
Milan
a-
playing Juventus, he missed the
he's
penalty.
an
He
emotional
got a
guy.
red
So
card.
the point
He's
is,
an
he's very
emotional
emotional guy. But I think in Chelsea, with the players that he has, it's a different atmosphere also than Italy. In England, they're a lot more accepting. They give you more time to really fit in.
Are you sure about
compared
that?
to Italy? In Italy, you make one mistake and everyone's gonna boo you.
Let me give you a stat.
For example, Bakayoko,
Yeah.
right? Now he's arguably the best player from Milan. The first 3 or 4 games that he played, Milan fans wanted him out. They were booing him nonstop. They didn't give him the chance to
You
do
too.
anything. And you also said,
Yeah.
So
I'm happy with him right
it's,
now.
it's different.
Bakayoko.
But the point is, he knows Sarri's system. I think he's gonna score goals, and that's
Anyway,
all he has to
I
do.
got news for you,
What's
all
your
of you.
news? What's your
In
news?
every game that Higuain did not play with AC Milan won all of them.
The 5 games, yeah.
5 games that he didn't play, he won all of them. So
that's
what does
just-
that tell you? Is that a case or
It's not a case.
We'll
we
see,
just,
we'll
we
see.
just said it before. He excluded himself from the Supercoppa last week. Fever, not taking a picture with the team. No, you still take responsibilities. Go on the field, play, give 150%. That's the type of player. That's the type of player he is. He's psychologically. He's very fragile.
Ludo, I've been
He's
hearing
very
on the
fragile.
TV, all of those big experts over there after the game, the commentators, including Billy Costa Curta, which I love the guy. I mean, he was the icon of AC Milan after Baresi, one of the best defenders next to Nesta. But what I don't like here from those, everybody says, oh, Higuain this, Higuain that. But guys, the thing is that I said to myself, I said, why you keeping trying to be nice that you don't look at the stats, you don't look at the way, the attitude that this guy here has. You have to just tell yourself, I said, if you're not good enough, just take your responsibility. Don't try to blame everybody else. take the
I
responsibility.
think that's the problem. It's not that he's not good enough. It's just mentally he doesn't want to be there, and you can tell on
If
the
you are
field.
a striker, the first thing that you have to be mentally strong, because a lot of
Yes,
strikers
but
that go
in your
through
spa-
drawing.
If you want to talk about stats, look at Higuain's stats since when he was at Real Madrid. How many goals he scored every year?
Then that was Benzema came in and his doors were closed. Then he went in
But I'm
Napoli. He could
saying
have
he
been
went
a
to
god. He could have
Yeah.
been the second Maradona in Napoli. And I think Napoli with Higuain, Napoli would have won at least one Scudetto. Now, Antonio, you also have to keep in mind that Milan was not going to get him, was not going to pay the 36 million.
Yeah. Right.
That they were not going to do that. They were not at the end of the season. He's already 31, almost 32. Milan was not going to do that.
He had less guarantees over
So
there.
now, 6 months, Milan paid half of the salary,
Right.
half of the loan of the money that went to Juventus. So
It's
they
gonna go
put
to Chelsea.
partial,
Yeah.
they partial that money going towards the
Piontek.
another big question mark. Let's hope he does well. And then now we see if Chelsea what happens at the end of the season. But for him to go to Chelsea, that means Chelsea already gave Juventus the okay that they will pay at the end of the season.
But what I was
we gotta
trying to
move
say,
on.
wait,
Chelsea
but
player.
Marco,
We gotta
what
move
I-
on. We gotta
wait,
move on.
no,
It's
very
boring.
quickly. What I was about to try to say to you is, Ludo, having a damaged Higuain or having Piontek, which we don't know how he's going to do in AC Milan. What would you keep? Somebody that is not motivated, or somebody that comes in with a lot of
Me
motivation?
personally,
Yeah.
keep Cutrone and let him play 90 minutes every game every Sunday.
Well, besides that,
No, it's not besides that. That's an
That's the
option.
exact point.
That's
that
an
we were
option.
talking
That's what
about.
we've talked about.
That's what I
So-
told you. I said Milan, by getting Piontek, shows that they don't have full faith in Cutrone.
I got news for you. Cutrone and Piontek, they're going to play
No,
together.
I wouldn't
We'll
say
see.
that because you need another striker to replace Higuain.
You do, but you do not spend 40 million for a player that's still technically a question mark, if you want to say, even
Well,
though
apparently
he's succeeded.
But
in
this was supposedly
past
a good
6
deal
months.
for
Oh, yeah.
someone. You know, there's a lot of clubs that were looking at him, so Milan want to snatch it really quickly.
They're similar players, so either you had full faith in Cutrone or you didn't.
Peter, I have a feeling that you're starting to worry, because we're going to catch you up. We're going to catch up with you guys, and Roma is going to catch up with you guys, because you guys are in a downswing. Because Vanda, if you don't sign the contract over there, is going to ship Icardi out. I'm telling you.
That's what
I'm
I
not
wanna
joking,
talk
Ludo.
about now. Inter Sassuolo.
This guy here is going to get out.
Oh,
By the end of
Inter
the year, he's going to get
Sassuolo.
out.
Oh.
Let's talk. Oh, Inter
Sassuolo.
By the way,
Listen,
what happened? I
the
didn't
last-
see the game.
Inter's last 9 games against Sassuolo. Give me a guess. How many points do you think Inter's picked up? Last 9 Serie A games against Sassuolo. How many points?
3 points.
4 points.
Oh,
Wow.
Which is incredible.
yeah,
Normally, you would say
27.
something higher. No, I guess you just knew that I was going to say it was low, right? Because it should be higher. A tie, a 0-0 draw. And I don't want to speak for Peter.
in
but
San
would-
Siro, right? In San
0-0.
Siro.
Yeah.
In San Siro.
I don't want
But
to speak
there
for
was no
you,
fans.
but was don't you think a draw was also a good result almost at a time? With the way that
See,
Sassuolo
well,
were
for
playing.
Inter's ambition, a draw is never a good result. Given the recent history, Sassuolo has always had Inter's number for the past, 9 games, right? We only have to get 4 points in nine games, which out of the 27 points. That is not something that Inter should ever have to aim for. It was Inter never really had trouble. Sassuolo had a couple of chances. Boateng, what's his name over there? Berardi, Sensi, these guys, they were definitely dangerous on the counterattack. They play very smart. You can see De Zerbi, which I think is a fantastic coach. He might get another chance now in a bigger club, because the way he has his team playing, the one touch, open up, he plays very freely. He wants the goalkeeper to move the ball always on the floor, starting from the back. It's interesting. It's very interesting type of football. And Sassuolo played a decent game. The first 20-something minutes, Sassuolo looked like the better team. Then Inter, from the later 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the first half, they looked like the better team, more dangerous team. And then the second half was pretty much a even game. Inter, defensively, very sound. Even in midfield, we move the ball, but we don't do enough. We don't try to create something, extraordinary. Some spark. We have, even off the bench, there was no real spark. He brings in the 82nd minute Lautaro Martinez.
That speaks volume about your stupid
you
coach.
have to try to bring in an attacking option in the 70th, 75th minute. So that way you have a solid, 15 minutes to
I can't
really
believe it.
attack
I still
the game.
think you guys have the best goalkeeper in Serie A.
Oh yeah, Andanovic.
He saved the
Yeah,
game.
he's solid.
The same way
Solid for
Donnarumma
years.
saved the game for AC Milan today.
Consistent,
This
solid
guy
for years.
here.
He's so
this guy-
experienced.
So what's that spark that's missing?
I don't know.
Spalletti. Spalletti should be shipped
Vidal,
out. He's the
Modric.
spark.
Peter.
He's the spark.
No, it could be a little bit of formation. Maybe putting in someone in earlier. Lautaro Martinez earlier. Also, Nainggolan is still not fit. So Nainggolan changes the game for us because he's got a lethal shot. He's smart. Physical. But we're definitely missing a midfielder, a regista type player.
Creative.
Yeah, we don't
Creative
have that
midfielder.
guy, or even a guy like trequartista that's able to break down the defense.
No. You're missing one of those midfielders that dictates the tempo of the game. Either slows down the game or picks up the pace
Paludo,
of the
they
game.
have the Spanish guy over there, the one that looks like Peter over there. Borja Valero. Now listen to me. Wait, one thing I want to ask you.
Yeah, but Borja Valero
But
is
this
not
is-
the class.
I mean,
that
this is
they would need.
a very stupid question.
Why?
You have the kid that Inter sold to Roma, which is a
Zaniolo,
spectacular. Okay, Zaniolo, and then you buy yourself Nainggolan. You spend a lot of money. So the kid, how much did they got? $3 million from Inter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this Zaniolo is the next Pirlo or Totti. For some reasons, I just feel it between him.
Be careful.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Listen to me. Between him, Barella, and a couple of other players, we have spectacular midfield coming from Mancini. I smell it. I can see it on the field.
Zaniolo.
How can you just overlook a Zaniolo, use Spalletti, and just get Nainggolan for somebody like that? Just making that switch over there. Why you have to take an established player and you never put a young kid into the pitch? Why?
Because they want to win right away.
They want to win
And
right
they
away?
don't want to wait until the kid grows up and becomes experienced. That's the problem. Because players at that age, they usually go to Serie B and Serie or Lega Pro for the to gain experience. And that's also another issue that I think one day you have Lega Pro that opened the two clubs of Serie A to put in an under 23 team, and only one team in Serie A took advantage. That's Juventus. No other club said, okay, we'll get into it. Like Napoli, Inter, to have an under 21 team and make them play in Lega Pro so these guys can get experience.
Instead of
Only
giving them out
Juventus-
on loan.
Only Juventus has it. So it's also about luck, Antonio. You have to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Pete, what do you think being an Inter
Oh,
fan?
listen, as an Inter fan, you see Zaniolo and what he's doing, you're upset, of course. But there's one thing when someone's a promise, and there's another thing when someone's already an experienced player that's within 10 years been playing amazing. Nainggolan is one of those players where with Roma he competed in Champions League, and Zaniolo is pretty much this surprise. One thing that I have to say that I agree with is that how does a player that was playing in the Primavera last year now all of a sudden start for Roma and play against Real Madrid?
Yeah.
And how does he not even get, garbage minutes last year
Not
with
even
Inter?
5 minutes.
You know,
what's
10
crazy.
minutes.
that's what I say. But you have to also remember situations, because last year Inter barely made Champions League, so Spalletti's job was on the line. Spalletti maybe with the pressure and Inter having to must get the Champions League by winning versus Lazio the last day. He didn't have the chance or the courage to put in Zaniolo, and that's what was missing. And I just don't know how a guy this good, so far what we've seen, how he didn't get any minutes or Inter let him go so easily.
No, he looks
That's
like.
all I have to
I
say.
mean,
You have to be-
every time I watch,
You have to
this
be
kid
at the
play-
right time I enjoyed listening to I'm looking at the Totti picture over there. He looks like Jesus Christ with the round.
Yeah.
And Mihajlovic explained how Totti made his debut in Serie A. I enjoyed that.
story.
I mean,
Explain
he
it.
started talking about Boskov, the coach,
Right.
and of Roma. And Mihajlovic went to coach Boskov and said, "Coach, there's this interesting kid in the Primavera. He's 17 years old. Why don't we call them up, to be on the bench?" And then Boskov did bring him to the bench, and then there was one game, I believe Roma was winning 2 or 3-0, and Mihajlovic went to the bench. He said, "Mister, put the kid in, give him a few minutes. He deserves it." And that's how he and Boskov put him in, and that's how he started.
Yeah.
So you have to be at the right place at the right time.
And it was Mihajlovic that brought Donnarumma into the pitch the first time. He
That's
just
true.
he got rid
Yeah.
of
Yes, he
the other
Yeah.
established goalkeeper
Yeah.
that we got because we paid so
courage.
much money. So You know, at some point, if you're a good coach, the talent, you can read the talent immediately. Don't tell me that Zaniolo overnight became this spectacular
that's what I
player.
was saying.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I'm
one
saying.
I'm telling you, Zaniolo had it when he was on Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Okay? 6 months. You do not become a champion in 6 months
He's
by
not a
just
champion, but-
switching bench.
One of the coaches I always admired, and I don't know why, maybe because he's very controversial and he's the Maradona of the coaches. He always spoke bad about teams, and he always said what he felt saying.
Zeman?
Zeman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I thought, why this guy, they don't give him a job in the Italian Federation. I never got that. This guy, he can see a player, an 8-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid,
And he knows
with,
already.
with the first communion suit on, and this kid starts juggling, he could tell you right away, this kid will be a player or he's not a player. He has that gift. And he did coach great teams in Serie B. Insigne, Immobile.
Foggia, Foggia,
Immobile.
forget about
was
it.
not-
These guys,
Unbelievable.
I mean, why he but I guess, controversial. He never,
Yeah.
he didn't keep his mouth shut at certain times.
Look,
but
even
I
Gattuso,
always had a
Ludovico,
great,
Gattuso, he brings Calabria inside. He brings the other kid inside.
Locatelli.
Locatelli, we
No, at
knew
the
it.
time,
He was
I'm
already
saying.
there. But Locatelli was brought in by
Cutrone.
Mihajlovic.
Cutrone.
Cutrone and all of those players. If you are a coach, you have to be able to read the talent. So a good coach is capable to see, hey, I like this kid here. Just bring him in. 10 minutes here, 50 minutes there, and then just put him under pressure and say, let's see what he's
But you
capable
also
to
have
do.
to understand the different pressures. Each coach has a different
Correct.
pressure. So at certain points, maybe the coach does not have the,
This guy here cannot handle the,
balls.
pressure. He cannot handle the pressure.
the ball. No, that's what I'm
he's
saying.
got
He
no
did not
balls.
have the balls to
doesn't have any
put
balls.
Zaniolo in because Inter had to get Champions League.
Listen, it was a miracle that Inter
by the
made
way,
the Champions League. By
Ancelotti
the
made one of my Gianluca Gaetano, the kid that played against Sassuolo the last 10 minutes. Mili came out in Coppa Italia. That kid is from my town.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you
He
gotta reach
played-
out to him before he becomes
He
famous.
played with my town Scuola Calcio for 6 years, and then Napoli got him when he was 13 years old.
Wow.
Did you call Ancelotti to say put him in?
So he did play. He's a phenomenal player in
Okay.
in Primavera. So now also talking about these young players, you know that there's the Youth Champions League.
Right.
So now these 4 teams that do make the Champions League, when Napoli plays against Liverpool or Inter plays against PSV, whatever, the Primavera plays against
The youth
the
team
Primavera
of
Right.
of the opposing team a few hours before. So it's all a matter of getting the minutes and getting the experience and being at the right place at the right time, and that's
Even Moise Kean.
A
Moise
good-
Kean's
wait,
another
listen,
one at Juventus.
I'm going to put a
leave.
good point for everybody over here. Gasperini, okay? I know Peter doesn't like it because he didn't do well on Inter after 5 games.
He's not a big club coach.
I tell you.
He's not a big club coach.
This
Some
guy-
coaches are not a big
He doesn't believe that.
This guy here, he brings everybody from being unknown to be some of the best players. Conte, before he started to play with Gasperini, it was a nobody. What's his name? Kessie, it was a nobody. All of those players.
But you have to understand the Piazza Atalanta is
Correct.
made to grow players. They don't have
You don't have the pressure of the
expectations
big
to
cities.
getting into Champions League.
You don't have the
so
pressure
you
of the
can,
big
you
cities.
can finish 10th place and you're fine. And when you have no pressure, that's when you finish 7th
He's not
place.
finishing 10th place.
He's
Atalanta,
not. I know.
Atalanta is
'Cause
finishing
I'm not
5th,
saying he's
6th
not a
all
bad
the time.
coach. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying when you don't have the pressure, you can start these young guys and give them time
And experiment more.
and experiment more
Yeah.
and be able to bring now this team that's playing well.
Without
you
getting
have certain
punished.
big names like Papu Gomez over there.
So what good are you if you're Spalletti? What good are you that you have all of those best players and you're not putting
Because
the numbers on the field?
they're still inconsistent. But I'm saying
Right.
Gasperini's team, Atalanta, yes, they do great, but they're still inconsistent. That they do not go and win a Scudetto or
But why can't you
compete
have a
for
system
Champions
where
League?
you have a mix of what Gasparini does and what a big
Well,
league team?
I still believe, I strongly believe that victories, they start in the locker room.
Yeah.
If you do not have the locker room in place, if the locker room is not compact, if it's not a family in the locker room, unless you are Juventus has a specific mentality. When you go to Juventus, it's about winning, winning, winning. It's a job. That's it. There is no friendship. There's no locker room. You go there, like I said before, you punch the
Cartellino, that's it.
That's it. You do your practice and you go home. You have to win. It's something that the club has in their DNA, and every player that goes to Juventus, that's what they have to learn. And they get actually Juventus gives them a manual. Before you reach Torino, you have to read the manual. How to act, when to act, and what to do. Except Juventus. But all the other teams in Serie A, unless you create that locker room, and that's what, look at Roma with Totti or with De Rossi. Unless those two guys had it their way, there was no locker room. Just look in the past 20 years, 25 years, how many coaches Roma had. After a year and a half, they were gone.
Because I senatori erano solo loro due.
Correct.
They were just
the
talking De
senators.
Rossi.
Every team has the senators in their locker rooms.
No, I think one good thing that you mentioned over there was about Juventus and Paratici. One thing that he's always said is before they think about a player, they see a talent. He said, I need to meet this guy. I need to meet his family. I go out to dinner with this guy. I need to see not just as a player, but I need to see him as a man and if he's ready to become a part of Juventus. But again, there's differences. Like Moise Kean, like I was going to say before, he's a guy who in January a lot of teams wanted him, and Juventus said, should we give him up? And he said, no, I want to stay at Juventus. I want to learn from Ronaldo. I want to learn from this. Wherever I get my minutes, like when he was given minutes against Bologna and Coppa Italia, he scores his goal, basic goal, whatever. But he's another one who for the Italian national team, and we have a few players that want to play and they want to stay in this system and they want to learn from them. So there's different, some could stay at Atalanta and build. You could be at Juventus and build. Another talent, Paquetá, your boy Paquetá.
Oh my God.
Let's get it over with and talk about it because Antonio's called me 15 times this week saying that he's got to talk about Paquetá. You guys won 2-0 over Genoa today. A match which sometimes is complicated, but your boy Piontek was not there, so Genoa couldn't score a goal. But Paquetá, he looked very good, I thought. What did you think?
Well, let me tell you something. Just the second game that he's starting playing for AC Milan. But the kid, the third, all right, the third. But the kid, I think, has got a lot of talent. He's picking up the slack from Biglia that is not there, Bonaventura that is not there, and he's just getting some a little help from.
Played well second half.
Yeah,
second half he played well. First half,
second half. This kid here is still trying to learn the system that Gattuso has put in place for AC Milan. Number one. Number two, he doesn't lack confidence. Even when he makes mistakes, he does not get affected by the mistakes. And he made a bunch of mistakes. So he's got talent. I think he's gonna need a few more weeks to get himself acquainted with the locker rooms and with the situation of the way AC Milan tempo is and who gets the ball and where is actually what his position is going to be, because they're still trying to find his position. From time to time you see playing on the left side. From time to time they move into the middle.
Yeah.
So the kid is going to have to just adjust to the system, and then he's going to be producing a lot.
I think we should wait and see once the coaches of the other team learn the way he plays, and they start marking him. They start watching him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see with Piontek. A lot of times we said about Higuain that he wasn't serviced, that there wasn't a lot of play for him. With Piontek coming in, who we know is a player that demands the ball. Like we said a few times, even at Genoa, he's pushed his teammate off the ball, say, listen, I want this ball and I'm going to score the ball. It's going to be interesting to see if Paquetá can help him in that sense to set him up. And the way that Milan play as a whole now, because you got two new players in your team with Gattuso. We know, and the third, I'm going to say Conti. Again, Conti coming off the bench is so important. Even when I saw him coming in, I said, listen, Milan are going to look better. We saw, what was the game that the game before? Was it Coppa Italia when he came in and he gave the cross to Cutrone? Yeah. I mean, he's got a great sense of where to be and where to put the ball. We saw this before. So that's three players. Galliani used to like to say, this guy coming back from injury is like a new signing, right?
It is.
So,
absolutely.
Milan's got three new signings with Piontek, Paquetá, and Conti.
Didn't Allegri say this about Khedira also?
Yeah, Allegri said about Khedira, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, I think it's going to be very interesting to see.
And you see the flip that he did over there on too bad that
the rainbow.
Yeah,
listen,
it was amazing.
do not have confidence.
Plus 5 million, right?
What's good about that is the confidence, one, to be able to do something and pull it off. Two, individual skill, he's amazing. What I like to see more than anything, because I already knew technically he's a top player, but he came back and try to win the ball.
Let's see
which
if he
is
does
very
that on
important.
Saturday. See if he does the rainbow on Saturday. Next Saturday.
We're gonna get into this.
Are we
one.
against Napoli?
Yeah.
You guys have
So-
to watch it together. We're gonna have to watch it.
Listen,
So
we'll have a prediction for Saturday. Are we playing in Milan?
we're going to the Jersey.
It's in
uh,
Naples, right? Or is
No,
it
it's
in
in
Milan?
Milan.
In Milan. Oh, so it's 2-0 against Milan.
Oh my!
I'm sorry.
Are we gonna do the preview now?
As much as I love Ancelotti, it's going to be 2-0 against Milan. And what's his name?
Paqueta's going to score?
One Paquetá and one Cutrone.
Oh,
What if
okay.
Piontek
Ludo?
starts?
Might I just remind you that every bet that Antonio's made this year, he's lost. 2 times he's worn a Juventus
But he
jersey.
didn't make a bet. I didn't hear any bet.
Yeah, I know. We
Yeah,
didn't
what
make
was
a
the
bet.
bet? You just gave the score.
So I said Milan 2 Napoli 0. What are you saying?
that wasn't a bet.
Okay, so basically,
Milan
we are
win.
playing away.
Yeah.
Do I get the tie and the win since we play away?
Yeah, whatever you want.
So tie and a win for Napoli, win for Milan for you if you
Yes.
win the bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Dinner, pizza, whatever.
Pizza, yeah, fine.
Pizza where?
I don't know. What do you want to do? We can do the pizza over there by the Barclay over there.
Can we get in on this deal somehow? we're gonna go. Whoever wins.
I never
we're gonna
tried the
put
place.
together
I
on
never
one-
tried the place. So
Ludovico, give us a prediction though. What do you think this?
Yeah. What do you think about next week for Napoli? How do you see this match? 'Cause it's
No,
gonna be
I
an
think
important one.
Napoli. I saw Napoli against Lazio. I saw different Napoli against Lazio than I saw against Spal and Bologna before the holidays against Sassuolo. And I think Saturday we should. I think we should.
Saturday,
with the
Ancelotti, you mean?
confidence.
Saturday.
No, Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
I thought you said
You got
Saturday.
Saturday on your
Oh,
mind.
my God.
So Saturday, I think we should be able to.
You'll win
To
it,
win,
right?
Anto,
to
what
win-
do you
to win
think
on
about
Saturday.
Milan? How do you think their approach is going to be against Napoli, who is obviously a better team on paper and have proven?
Listen,
for the past
unfortunately
few years?
today we lost Zapata, but if we get Romagnoli back, we'll be okay. We'll be okay on matching up against Napoli.
Can we? I mean, we could potentially be seeing Piontek on the bench.
I don't think so. I think they're going to start him.
Oh,
You think
I
they're
don't
going to
know
start?
about
him?
Oh, absolutely.
You
Maybe
didn't
as a
sign
center
that.
back.
You
they
don't
know
sign
where-
somebody-
Napoli yesterday for
You don't
60
sign-
minutes. They really.
You don't sign
They really
somebody for
impressed
$40
me for the
million
first
and
60
then you're
minutes.
going to start him on the bench. No, they're going
He
to
started
start
right
him.
after
So
the airport.
Cutrone
He's
is
coming
out
out.
No, it's not. Cutrone is going to play too.
First,
Cutrone should play.
Cutrone is
should
going to play. You guys are. I'll tell you what. You guys look worried to me.
I'm not worried.
You guys
have
look
to
worried
understand
to
what
me.
the formation
We're gonna
is. If
catch
the
up with
formation
you,
is
Pete.
a
We're gonna catch up
4-3-3.
with you. We're gonna catch up with you, Pete. I'm telling you. You guys are not gonna finish
Guys, this
third.
is who's going to finish third or fourth. We already got second locked in.
I'm not sure about that too.
We have second locked in.
You're gonna have to watch for Roma and Lazio because Roma and Lazio they might overtake you. So we're gonna be probably third. So
Okay.
Third.
let's
Wow.
let's talk about another talent.
Yeah.
Muriel.
Oh, yeah.
A guy that we know on IFTV. Ludo, I don't know if you know, but we work with Muriel. We did a few videos with Muriel. That's why we got the jersey hanging over there. First game back in Italy after 2-3 years. 2 spectacular goals. One better than the other. The second one, very Maradona-esque from his own line, beating 2-3 guys. So happy for Muriel. He looks in shape. He's scoring. Fiorentina's had this drought. The youngest team in Europe. But on the scoring front, we thought Simeone was really going to step up, and he hasn't. And, I mean, Muriel, what a great start. You can't get any better than
Love
that.
the guy. I love the change of pace. The guy, the more space you give him, and he's able to change the pace when he starts his run. Like you see at the beginning, like he might start a little bit slow. Plus, he's very technical. But then as he progressing with the ball, he picks up speed. So it's hard to catch up to him. And then he reaches with that clear thought outside the box, and he takes those shots. They're like pull shots. Boom, right to the post. Beautiful.
And he didn't
the
guess
goal.
too, Ludo. He didn't
can't
guess.
even-
He just
like
went
Sousa
straight for it.
scored today. Today was a beautiful goal that Sousa scored for Milan. One of those shots with the pool table
With the
shot
stick.
with the stick that you have to that the goalkeeper extends
It was
himself,
perfect.
but he cannot reach. But it hits the post and it goes in. Doesn't get any better, and that's what Muriel did yesterday. Always liked the guy. I always
Me too.
enjoyed watching him
Me
play,
too. I'm
and of
happy we
course I
got him
always
back.
like to watch Quagliarella play.
See, too bad he didn't come to
Unbelievable.
AC Milan, Ludo, because the rumor was this guy here was coming to AC Milan, but he refused to go to AC Milan just to play for Fiorentina. I don't know what was the
He
reason.
gave the
Sampdoria.
word.
Oh,
to
He said,
Sampdoria.
he said yes to
He plays for Sampdoria.
no, he's talking about
No,
Muriel.
before he
Oh,
went
I
to
thought you meant
Fiorentina,
Quagliarella.
he was given the offer from AC Milan, but then he didn't
after
go.
he agreed
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
He already
Fiorentina.
agreed with
Yeah.
Fiorentina. To show you what a gentleman
So
he is.
for us, it would have been a major upgrade.
Over
from
Piontek?
from
From
Higuain.
Higuain.
From Coutron- oh.
You know, I was telling Marco before that Higuain looks like a piece of calzone with the legs on, because the guy he eats too much when he's depressed.
He looks in great shape. He
Are
used
you
to
kidding
be. He
me?
used
The
to
guy
be
should be
bigger by
losing
now.
20 pounds.
I don't know. What do you eat in Milano? What kind of food do you eat in
Panini.
Milano?
They eat panini too much.
In Naples, at least you have pizza, mozzarella.
Thank you. The
But
guy
in
eats
the
too much
north, what do
panini.
you-
Panini is not good for you. Too much bread. Just stay away from bread. Get some proteins. Okay? Get some octopus. Get some, you know.
Yeah.
Ludo hit on Quagliarella,
Yeah.
and I think he's another guy that we got to talk about because he's unbelievable. The second goal was class. You know, defender on his back, he's able to turn and finish it. You know, another guy who seems like
He
Benjamin
smells the
Button.
net. Quagliarella
Unbelievable.
reminds me of Inzaghi. Two of the players that smell where the net is. They smell where the ball is going to be. It's like someone that's walking like a blind person. That's
And he knows
walking,
already smells.
And the smell, oh, the roses are there. Oh, the flowers are on the other side. They already know where
Oh, yeah.
you know, where to be
Ludovico,
and where
he's
to...
turning 36 in a couple of weeks. How crazy is that?
But he doesn't have to prove anything at this point of his career.
Mancini
he
better
played-
call him up. That's all I'm saying.
Also,
I mean, Mancini's already said about him.
Quagliarella's the type of player like from anywhere he'll take a shot. He'll have a goal.
Yeah, Mr.
And he's
Wonder
great
Goal.
like that. He just goes for it, you know. And you can see the second goal that he scored, the first touch was really amazing because from a hard ball to collects it, turns, has the defender on his back, pushing him on the floor, and he's able to score the goal. I mean, he's class, and I think he actually tied the record too, right? 11 games in a row that he scored.
No, he needs
and
to
that
score
was the
one
same-
more.
was
He's
the-
gonna
one
need
more
to
to
score
break
one more
the
to go
record.
over Batistuta, I think, right?
Batistuta with Fiorentina.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Quagliarella is.
So
phenomenal.
it's great to see. It's great that even at 36, he's able to
He's
still
finding his
score.
prime again.
Yeah. Then talking about Muriel, I just want to say another player where I think with Fiorentina is going to do really well with Chiesa. It's going to link up really well. Simeone, this year he didn't really prove anything, and it's unfortunate. I think he's going to have a hard time finding the field if Muriel is hot like this. And
Simeone should have stayed at Genoa.
Yeah, and
Because
technically
Simeone,
Muriel
they're
is
very
amazing.
similar with Chiesa, and Fiorentina bets everything on Chiesa.
Chiesa.
So Simeone is pushed a little bit to the side. So I
but
think
Ludo, they play him centravanti, center. They put him forward, Simeone. The
Yeah,
Chiesa,
but
he comes from
you
the
could see
side.
that even Simeone, the feeling is a little bit strange with him. You know, I think today he almost tripped over the ball too on one of the goals that went through his legs. And last year with Genova, he was just an animal
Correct.
that you would see him bury that.
Yeah.
But another guy who's smelling goals, Zapata. I mean,
Oof.
14 goals in his last 8
Who's got more,
games.
him or Cristiano Ronaldo?
They're tied.
Oh.
They're tied on goals right now.
Napoli has a great sense of picking center forwards.
But they got to keep
Wait,
him.
go.
We let him
They
go
gotta
because-
keep him.
Wow.
He-
Ludovico, the big
Zapata,
question.
Zapata is a Napoli.
I know.
Is a Napoli
Ludovico.
plays for, but he didn't want to. He didn't want to be under. He wanted to play every Sunday.
Yep.
He wanted to play, and Napoli had to let him go. And 2 years ago, he was at Napoli. We let him go a couple of days before the end of the mercato of the
right.
and then what's his name? Milik got hurt a week later.
Would you take him over Milik, Zapata over Milik now or no?
No.
Two different players, too, Mike.
No, they're not different players. They're very
similar.
similar. But Zapata, I think, at Atalanta, you know, he made that upgrade from Sampdoria to Atalanta.
You think
who was
he's a small-time
European team.
player?
And
A small team?
I don't think he's a small team player. I think he's doing unbelievable right now at Atalanta. I think he found his mojo. You know, he's got a great rapport with his
It's not
players.
because of the
around
4
him.
goals he scored yesterday. Remember,
No.
Yeah.
it can
No,
happen
in
one of those
general.
games that everything you touch becomes gold.
Exactly.
And if
That's
you
what
look
it
at
is
those
right
4
now.
goals yesterday,
It is.
look at that. The ball went right there.
The ball was attacked too.
I mean, just like a goalkeeper that makes 3 great saves in a game. Yesterday, everybody was talking about Meret. Oh, beautiful! The first 2 saves. They shot right on top of his body. That's not a save. The ball is coming to your body. Anybody would have made that save.
Yeah, he was
Because they
just a
shot right
boulder,
on your
yeah.
body. Now, the save that he made where he extended himself and
That
he
was
saved
nice.
that was nice. That was similar to Napoli Spal before the holidays.
Who's the
in-
best
in
goalie,
Naples.
Ludo? Who's the best goalie so far in Serie A?
Andanovic, without a doubt.
Even
Thank
better than
you.
Donnarumma?
Absolutely.
Are you crazy? what you been drinking, Huzo?
No, Andanovic is consistent.
Did you see what he
I
saved
think
today,
Adam's great.
Donnarumma?
No, I was saying with Zapata, this year has been his first year that he's really breaking out as far as goal scoring, because the strength, the ability, the speed, he's a powerhouse, but he's never been able to really have the composure in front of goal and score you the 20 goals. And so far, he's been able to score 14.
Definitely on track.
Yeah, so I think, we'll see if this is a 1-year wonder or even next year he can do the same thing.
If he stays.
Because he's only 27.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, this should be his prime. So hopefully he figured out what needs to be done and be able to score.
Same like Belotti.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he had that
Yeah.
wonderful season, which I think Torino should have sold him. But there was a couple of teams that really wanted him, and now he's never. After that injury that he had, I believe he had an injury. He's not the same. He's not the same player as he used to. I mean, he didn't repeat the year like Peter was saying. That particular year to be consistent year after year to be sure that you score between those 10, 13, 14 goals, which is great for Serie A. If you finish the season with 13, 14 goals, for Serie A standards is great.
Talking about goal scorers, the Capocannoniere race is tight. There's Ronaldo, Zapata, Quagliarella, and Piontek, who are all very close, if not equal on goals. So where do we think things are going to stand? After seeing the first half of the season, who's still going to be there at the end? What do you think, Ludo?
I think Zapata, like Peter said before, Zapata is one of those seasons that he will continue to score. And let's hope he scores a couple of goals against the big teams. That would be really nice. And not just against, Frosinone, to score consistently though.
Yeah.
But I think Zapata can very well score. And I think also Milik can score.
He's on like 11, right?
Yeah, he can score a few more goals. Milik. He's taking those free kicks.
Yeah, they're
He's been
beautiful.
practicing, huh?
Those are beautiful.
Wow.
Yesterday,
kicks so
watching
far.
that free kick yesterday was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
the
was-
way.
Who
the
does it
guy-
remind you, Ludo? Maradona?
Of course. Nobody
Come on.
took the free
Hey,
kicks like
How big is
Maradona did.
Donnarumma? How big is Donnarumma? All the save that he made when the score was when the game was scoreless today. How big was it? Big, right? Yes,
no, he made.
But
some,
Andanovic makes better saves.
Donnarumma is the reasons why AC Milan is on fourth place still right
What do
now.
you mean?
Should be
He has to
another-
make those saves, man. He makes
It
$6
should be-
million
Yeah,
a year.
he makes a lot of
6
money.
million,
You
he
give me
makes
that
6
much, I won't even concede one goal.
6 million is not a lot of money for a guy for a player like that.
He's 20 years old. Of course, it's a lot of money. 6 million. Icardi doesn't make that money. Insigne doesn't make that money.
Listen,
Insigne makes
if you were
4.6.
if you were Vandanara, I mean, you kind of look a little bit like her. But if you were Vandanara, what would you do? Stay on Inter or just leave? With all the offers that you have, what would you be demanding? Put it this way: what would you be demanding to to Inter?
Here's the.
You brought it up. I'm sorry.
No, I brought it. Here's my honest opinion. It's not about. I think Icardi deserves the money of a top player. He's young, he's a captain, and I think he deserves to get the 7-8 million a year. Because if you look,
That's not a lot of money, Peter.
well, he's
That's
not
what he
making that
wants.
now.
That's what he wants.
That's what he wants. Pjanic is
7, 8
making.
million. I was saying at least 10, 11 millions.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Anyway, continue your point.
Pjanic is making 7 right now.
Pjanic is not. It's not a.
Well, the six
Icardi.
top salaries in Serie A, they're from Juventus players. So right now, I think Icardi currently is on 11th place. So now, what the issue might be, it's not a matter of renewing the contract 9, 10, 11 million. I agree with you. The problem is the clause. It's the clause. Will Vandanara and Icardi demand the elimination of the clause? Because if you make 10
What is the
million-
clause? What we're talking about?
100. Right now, it's at 110 million.
Uh,
It's a
uh-huh.
buyout
So
clause.
The
it's
buyout.
about-
Outside of
just like
Italy.
Higuain. So if a team comes and says, here's 110 million.
But only outside of Italy.
Only outside
outside
right.
of Italy.
So I want Icardi. And Icardi says, okay, Inter cannot hold him.
Yeah.
So what is Vandanara trying to do? Said eliminate this 110 million. Leave it
I
at
know,
50
they
million.
don't speak about
No.
this.
Leave it
this
at 50
clause.
million.
They
They
actually
wanted
wanted to
no. They wanted
increase
to.
it.
They wanted to increase
180
it.
was a new offer from
That's
Inter.
crazy.
Apparently,
As
they
a
wanted to get to
buyout.
200 million.
Yeah.
The clause.
They wanted
Correct.
to get it to 200.
So if
or
you wanna
200.
And
buy
then
him
he's
out,
requesting what?
that's
8,
what
9
you
million a year.
Yeah.
Which
Basically,
I think
it like protects, I guess, Icardi, where you could say if Inter say no, I don't want to sell at this price, then you
that's
say
the mistake
Barcelona.
that Napoli made with Higuain.
Exactly.
The clause
And
was,
same thing with
was
Roma.
valid. It was like
How
a
much? Was
general
$100 million?
clause.
90
million.
$90 million.
Same thing with Roma.
But Napoli
and
should have
Pjanic.
put it only for outside, which Napoli fixed that mistake
exactly.
with Higuain. They fixed it with Mertens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they fixed it.
His is
so
like 30
Mertens,
million.
right? He cannot go outside of Italy.
No, he
I
can
mean,
only go outside.
it's
In
not
Italy.
valid for only for the teams outside of Italy.
would have to negotiate
Higuain, I mean, the guy wanted to go to Juventus, and he left. So that's the problem. Would be the clause, but he'll get the 8-9 million.
So you're saying he's going to stay at Inter?
Absolutely, I agree. 8-9 million a year he'll get.
I think that at the end they'll definitely work on that, and I think next week they're supposed to have meetings. Another guy who's
Wait,
left-
Marco.
What?
He's going to stay at Inter with $8 or $9 million, and they're going to raise the clause.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is what
Or
they're saying.
eliminate it or
Why don't
whatever.
you don't agree with that?
Absolutely not. I
What
would
do you
not stay
want?
on a team like this.
Or eliminate it completely.
No, I would not stay
Or
on Inter.
eliminate
He's
the
the
clause
captain.
completely.
If
He's the face
guy's
of
a
Inter.
winner. The
He's
guy's a
captain.
winner. He's not going to win
He's
anything.
the captain. He's the
He's
face
not going
of
to win
Inter.
anything.
Antonio's
Where
a
is he gonna
project,
go?
come
Where he's
on.
gonna
It's
be
a
the-
project. It's been a project for the last 5 or 6 years. He's not going to win anything. He's not going to win anything. You go to Real Madrid. That's a winning team.
I don't know.
You
not
go to
anymore.
Liverpool. That's a winning team. You go to Manchester City. That's a winning team. You're telling me that Real Madrid is calling
Yeah,
you.
but first off, Man
He's
City's
giving
not
you $10
calling.
million.
The only one-
You're not going to go?
Well, I don't know. Did Real Madrid call or no? I don't know if they
They
called.
did.
They-
Van
well, I
Danara
don't know
said
for
that they
sure.
have 3 or 4 offers.
What's he going to say?
She's an agent. She's
What's he
gonna-
going to say?
What's
He's
she
in
say?
there.
Well,
Believe
play
me,
market.
there are teams over there that will do anything to sign Icardi.
She also said today that 100% he's going to renew. That's what
Yeah,
she
she
said.
did.
She said that?
She
So
did
every
say.
1 week she says it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
that's
far
what
away.
she said. That's what she said last night.
That's why
Last
I
night
don't
she
wanna
said
talk
they're
about
going to
it
renew.
until that it's going to
Last night
happen.
they go, but she also looks at the salaries
just
that other
ups-
players are making,
Yeah,
and
that's
says,
what it
listen,
is.
this guy, he's number 11 in Italy, 11th place. He's barely making one, not even 4.
Yeah.
They're right to
I think
say
he's
that
at 5.
because he's a top.
No,
he
less.
scores almost
Is it
every
less?
game.
He's less.
Yeah.
He's below
Oh
Insigne.
my
Insigne
God.
renewed at 4.6.
What a shame.
He's just upset
I
because
bet you Spalletti makes more money than him. I bet you Spalletti makes more money than him. Does he?
You're just
I
upset.
don't
Icardi
think
keeps
so.
on scoring against Milan. I understand. It's okay.
Wait, let me give you something. Hey, Spalletti,
past
look
3
alive.
games.
Listen to this.
Higuain was 9.
Go. What are
Nine.
you going to say?
Higuain was 9.
Oh my God.
Because Milan had to pick up the
Did he phone
salary
again?
from
Yeah, mute that,
from
mute that.
from Juventus. So now Milan only had to pay 4.5, but the salary that Higuain got from Juventus was 9 at the beginning of the season when he sold him. I mean, 2 years ago when he got him from Napoli. But he was getting, I think, around 4.5 from Napoli, and Juventus doubled it when they got him for Napoli.
If you don't win this year,
What are we going to win?
But they're going to win.
Wait a minute.
The Gelato Cup, what are they going to win?
Well, at least the UEFA. You're still competing for the UEFA, right?
Europa League will be Napoli and Chelsea in the final.
Oh yeah. All right. So they're not going to win.
You said they were going to
You're
win
not going to
the
win.
treble.
You're not going to win. You're going to be spending a lot more money for Icardi. You're keeping Spalletti. So what is your project? I don't understand. What is the Inter project? What do you want to do? What is there? You spend a lot of money.
Well,
we
they got
spent
Marotta
less
now.
money than
Marotta,
Milan.
okay.
We spent
They got
less
Marotta
money
now.
than
They
Milan.
want
No, you did not.
We
No, you did
spent
not.
less money on Milan, and
they
we
did.
discussed
We
this.
did.
Barella already is on his way to Inter.
How do you know that? He
He's on
didn't
the
sign
train.
yet.
been talking.
He
He's on the
signed it.
train. He's on the train.
He signed it. He
sign
didn't
it.
sign
No,
it.
no,
They're in
sign
Italia.
it.
He's
You
on
the
wish.
point is-
So in other words, you're gonna wait. And what happened with what happened with Nainggolan? You get Barella, you get Nainggolan, you got 20 midfielders. How many people you gonna put on the
First
field?
off, we need
only
another
can play
midfielder.
with 11
We
players.
need another midfielder.
You
We
need
don't have
another
enough
midfielder. What
midfielders.
happened with Borja Valero?
You keep on talking about Borja Valero. Borja Valero is like 34 years old.
34 years old.
Where's
So
he
ship him
going?
out.
He is. Next year, he's probably going to be out. He's
He'll
on
play
the
with the
bench.
Brooklyn Dynamos over
He has
50.
been on
Oh,
the
we
bench.
need him. Pete, I got news for you. You're gonna get rid of Spalletti. He's the problem. You have a problem.
And Milan have no problems in the world.
We don't have any problem. We don't have any problem. You need to ship up Spalletti. Ship him out.
We have no problem.
Milan will be in the same problem if they don't reach 4th place. Gattuso is gone if they don't reach 4th place.
But at least we're not spending the money that those guys are
You guys
spending.
spend more than us.
spent 90 million.
You
between
spend more than
Piontek and
Inter.
Paquetá.
We're younger. We're much younger than Inter.
We have a solid budget.
I don't think
We're the top
No.
one
much
of the
younger.
top 20
No.
teams in Europe that have a solid budget.
That's it.
He's
We're
got
much.
all 25.
Listen,
Let's take some fan comments real quick. We
Okay.
keep these short because we went long today. Piontek, they don't know if he's gonna get the number 9. We have a question that says, what do you think if Piontek will get the number 9? The number 9 since Inzaghi's left has not been a good number.
I want
to
to take
at
number
Milan.
9.
What do you think, Anto?
it really doesn't matter to me.
Good. I like that answer. I think it shouldn't matter if you're a really good player.
Give
The
me
He
suit,
likes-
but-
how do you say? The suit doesn't make the priest.
Right.
Give him a 76 so that bad luck doesn't go on him.
The suit doesn't make the priest. That's the answer. I like that.
Give him the number 76 so there's no bad luck or
Nah,
anything.
bad luck. Come on. If you're a good player, you don't believe in
That's a
bad
nice
luck.
number. Watch, you got
That's
it right on your
ridiculous.
back. That's a
Higuain.
nice number.
How many Higuain?
99.
Okay, you got to be a great player. There's
That's
no way
Milik's
that
number.
a number.
Higuain
That's
got
Milik's
a
number,
great
you
player.
see?
What do you think about the number? Do you think it matters?
I don't think it matters. There's no real superstition. I just think the players that they had weren't any good.
Higuain?
So Higuain was a different case. It was a problem where he didn't want to be there.
Okay.
Piontek thinks he's good. He wears the number 9 and score goals.
Okay, next question. Would it be worth sticking a cheeky bet on Atalanta finishing in 4th place this season?
Nah.
Listen,
Lose your money.
I got news
What's
for
the
you.
points?
I got news for you. I like Gasperini. Gasperini's been
That's
the,
not news. You say this every episode. It's not news.
Gasperini to me is the
Answer
top
the question.
3 coaches in Europe.
He's got a question. Do you
To
think
me.
Atalanta?
I don't think this year is gonna happen, but
Are you kidding me? That'd be a huge achievement. That's like the Scudetto.
I have my doubts. Not this year. They will make Europa League, but I don't think Champions League, because the first 2 places in Champions League they already.
taken.
I mean, Napoli between Napoli and the 4th place team, I believe there's 15 points difference. Am I right?
But
Yeah.
from Napoli in 4th place, yeah.
Yes, 15 points difference. So we're already in Champions. So 2 places already. So now how many teams are fighting for
Yeah.
3rd, 4th, and
Yeah.
5th? That
it's
are
Roma,
really close.
Lazio, Milan, maybe Fiorentina, Sampdoria, and I don't know.
And Frosinone.
So next question is, it says you guys don't think Roma are going to get top 4 based off what we said. Why don't you think that? Do we think?
Roma, it's basically, even Di Francesco said this, inconsistent. Roma, 1 week they can play, even against Torino. It almost I mean, you're winning 2-0, I believe. They
Yep,
were winning
yep,
2-0,
and they came back.
and
That's
the game almost got out of your hands. You almost let it. You almost let it. You almost let it go. Slipped out of your hands. So with Roma, they're not, consistent. And now next month you start the Champions League again, where you have to play Wednesday and Sunday next month. So. Yes, I think, my opinion, Roma, 40% for 4th place.
What do you think?
Listen, I'd rather to see Roma 4th place than I don't know Inter or
Or Milan.
Inter's 3rd place.
Milan. We said we're going to be 3rd, but I'd rather to keep Roma on the 4th instead of seeing Inter on the 4th place.
No, I think Roma. When we first said, I even said Roma was gonna finish 5th, but they've been too inconsistent. But if you look, Milan's been inconsistent. Lazio's been inconsistent. So I mean, it's a real crapshoot.
It's very competitive.
Anything
this
can
season
happen,
for,
to be
for
honest.
third,
For
fourth,
3rd and 4th
And
place.
then going
think
back
so.
to the Atalanta, I'm looking at they're only 3 points away from 4th.
Wow.
So if Atalanta keeps a hot streak, they could even.
It's
But
gonna
if
be a
you-
long
But
hot
I don't know.
If you take
It's a
away,
long season.
if you
It's a
take
long
away
one.
Juventus, Juventus, it's different category altogether, and you start from Napoli. That's the reality of Serie A.
Yeah.
That's a real
I
championship.
think that second is off limits too. I think that Napoli is
Yeah,
the
correct,
second.
But if you look from
I think that
second
it's
coming
more-
down, how many points between Napoli and Inter? 7 points.
points.
7 points.
I think first
But
and second, since the start of the season, obviously we knew it was going to be. I mean, you said Inter. You thought Inter was going to win too. I remember in our predictions.
Not according to the Italian media.
Yeah, no.
According
I
to the
know,
Italian
yeah, it was-
media
it's true.
in
That's
August,
true.
Napoli was going to finish 5th.
That's
this
true.
year.
Peter, how many
That's
points
true.
between Inter
Fair
and Milan? 4
Right now,
Yeah.
6 points.
6 points.
Yeah.
All right.
Two
So
games.
it's going to be 3 next week. Who they play Inter next week?
Torino.
Torino. Oh, 3 points.
Okay.
Well, Torino lost last week.
Next question: is Zaniolo the most exciting talent in Italian football?
Is who?
Zaniolo.
Zaniolo, okay.
I think this guy says he thinks that he's better than Chiesa or Barella. He looks more promising than Chiesa or Barella.
I think it's just exciting right now. All the nerves, all the spotlights on him. But I definitely think him and Barella go hand in hand in terms of the future for Italian football.
I think all three of them look really good. And most of all, the thing that I try to judge, above that is character. And I think that I see from Chiesa and I think I see from Zaniolo, playing in Champions League, I see character. And Barella with the Italian national team. I don't like to see a player that
correct.
looks scared, and I like that. I really like that.
Barella and Chiesa, it's already been a year and a half, 2 years that they played more or less at the same level since they first came to the scene.
Yeah.
They already, let's say, played at the level. Barella, we already knew from the beginning of the season and last year. Zaniolo, he came out a few weeks ago. So we have to give time. I think this is something that you need to talk about towards the end of the season
In
to see
June.
how he will he will perform.
I think that's fair.
The all these matches that remain in Serie A, and let's see him in Champions League if Roma makes it through the next round. Now, when you play against the big boys, and you go on the field, let's see if you're going to roll up your
True.
sleeve and that character and personality
True.
comes out.
I agree with Mike mostly on about Zaniolo, Barella, and Chiesa. But if you were Mancini, I mean, not Mancini. Let's just put Mancini on the side. If you have the coach of the national team, who would you be? You as a player, would you be worried about losing the position? I would say that Verratti looks kind of shaky to me because Barella. I seen Barella playing. This guy is for real.
Well, they play
all-
Barella
and
is a
Verratti.
There's
spectacular
also
player.
another player from Empoli who's very good.
It's
Getting his
Tonali,
break.
the guy with
Tonali.
long hair.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's also center mid.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
I
promising.
figured that's what you're
But
talking about.
Barella is got game at every level. Control the tempo. He's
Agreed.
very aggressive. He's
Antonio,
clean.
but don't forget, you're playing in Cagliari. It's one thing is when you play in Cagliari and only Serie A, and now when you play on a big scene, when you play in Champions League and on in a big team,
But listen to me.
it's different.
But in Cagliari, this guy has been able to do a lot of work against a lot of damage
No, he
against
has,
the big
he has,
teams.
he has.
I mean, this guy controls a lot of the
I
tempo.
agree.
This guy is the mind. This is
But
this,
now
this is
Italy
why-
plays
this is
against
guys been
Germany,
sought
and you
already
put
by
this
the
guy in.
big teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid. Those are. This is a player that is just. It's going to put Verratti to shame. So Verratti is going to have to work very hard.
Inexperience. He has to play on a big team and he
He's
has
gonna
to
have to
play
work
on the
hard.
big stage, on the big European
we'll
stage.
be able to see with the way Mancini played. So far, he's done Barella, he's done Jorginho, and he's done Verratti. He's done all three of them together.
Also, Barella is not really a regista like Verratti. He's more of the hardworking player that comes in, joins in on the attack, makes the late runs.
But he can take that role too. He can take that
don't
role.
know. I don't
He's
know.
got
It'll be
got
interesting. It'll be
spectacular
interesting.
pass. He's
Yeah.
very good. His
But-
geometry, his
Well, we'll see when he-
triangulation. Is
when he makes the
excellent.
jump,
I enjoy watching him so much.
When he makes the jump,
Yeah.
It's
that's
like
what's
Fabio
gonna be
Ruiz.
seen.
He's an architect.
If he can make the jump to Inter or to any top team, Juventus, Milan, whatever,
We'll see what he
that's
does.
what's going to be interesting.
Correct. He has to play.
We got two
You have to
last
play.
good questions. The first one says, so Gattuso has beaten Di Francesco every time he's faced them. He's beaten Gianpaolo 3 times, and he hasn't been beaten by Inzaghi yet. These are all considered better coaches than Gattuso. Is Gattuso underrated?
So far, Gattuso, we're not talking about being underrated. So far, Gattuso is at the right place at the right time. And I don't think he's underrated at all. Gattuso,
You don't think that the general consensus, besides you at this table, thinks that Gattuso's not
I think it is a little bit underrated. I think Gattuso,
just said you don't-
No, it's not. But Gattuso
not
should-
underrated by you?
Gattuso with the right players, he can do a lot better.
Ludo, what do you
Gattuso has
think?
been plagued by a lot of injuries. If
Gattuso-
Gattuso didn't have the problem with the injuries that AC Milan had, we will have at least 4 or 5 points more. We will be probably on top of
Neck and neck with Juventus.
Gattuso had to inherit a lot of BS. Number one, the club being sold.
3
the
times.
club not being stable at the end. At the the head of the club, selling, not enough money. You can have the mercato because the UEFA is putting certain
Right.
limits on you.
The financial fair play and all that stuff.
Financial fair play. Now Elliott comes in, and then they hire Leonardo, and they hire Maldini as team managers. So now you get a team to coach, and now you get a couple of players that you really counted on, and now they get injured. So basically, I give Gattuso a lot of credit. It's one of those scenarios where you open the refrigerator and you have very few ingredients, and now someone is telling you, make a great dinner. How am I going to make a great dinner if I only have basil and a couple of more ingredients? I have to make something basic. I have to with the ingredients that I have. And right now, his ingredients are very limited. Then on top of that, you got the Higuain mental issues on top of all what he had to go through. I mean, I don't think he's underrated. I think we have to see him perform in better circumstances and in a better scenario.
I think a lot of people are wishing Gattuso bad, but I have news for you. This guy here,
If he makes it fourth,
he played
That's
AC,
unbelievable.
he
Guy,
played on
that's,
AC Milan.
a guy-
Even if he gets sacked, he's got nothing to be worrying about it because this guy's he's been established himself as a coach, as a good coach. So
with what he
he's
had to
gonna
go
find-
through, I agree.
He's gonna find a
It's
job
not
anywhere.
easy.
Anywhere.
It's
Find
not
a
easy.
job anywhere.
Last question. Should Napoli sign Ciro Immobile? The reports came out because this week his agent, I believe it was his agent, said that if Napoli came calling, there's no way that he would be able to
Absolutely.
But
deny.
Napoli didn't call
Absolutely.
last year. Napoli did not call after Higuain left.
So what do you think? Should
No,
they sign
Napoli. No,
Immobile?
Napoli. No, I don't think. Napoli wants Immobile. They had an opportunity to get him when Higuain left, and we went to get Milik for 35 million euros from Holland. But no, Immobile is
Why
not,
not, Ludo? It's un Napoletano. It's a Napoletano. Why shouldn't Immobile fit into the Napoli philosophy?
Well, that doesn't mean just because you're Neapolitan, that doesn't mean you have to necessarily play on the Neapolitan and the Napoli team. I just don't need at this point that Napoli would need a player like that based on what.
Like I said before, when I was telling Marco, if AC Milan is going to have to be selling Donnarumma in Italy, I want him to go to Napoli. Not to Juventus, not to any, because the guy is a real Napoletano and he will just do.
I think Napoli have their
make
good,
me, it'll be
good
make
share
me
of
happy.
goalkeepers right
I
now.
think we have merit for the future, and I think at this point of the career, technically speaking, overall as a goalkeeper, Merit is better than Donnarumma.
Are you kidding me? What have you been drinking lately?
Hot cocoa.
Hot
'cause it's
cocoa?
cold outside.
I don't know, Ludo. You're going to have to switch.
I think technically at this point, yes.
Get some
overall,
coffee.
As
Get some coffee in your
Merit is
system.
better than, not because I'm a Napoli fan, because like I said before, I think the best player in Serie A today, Inter has him. But Merit today is a better play, better feet,
I would say Meret is better than what's
And
Andanovic,
better-
but not that Donnarumma. I'm sorry.
and the reactivity is much better.
Why isn't Meret playing in the first on the national team as a goalkeeper as a first line?
He just started.
It just started.
came
Just
back
came
from
back
injury.
It's not going to happen. I'll tell you, it's not going to happen because Donnarumma is going to be the goalkeeper.
I thought he just came
Mike-
back from a fractured arm.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's give him a little
Mike
bit.
and Peter, what do you think about the Immobile?
No, Immobile is a goal scorer, but also technically speaking, I'm not crazy about Immobile. He's a guy that, he can score you the goals, yes, but if you look at Milik, the guy can do everything Immobile does plus more. So why you're gonna take Immobile, and also Immobile is gonna be a certain price tag. Lazio's not gonna give up for any price. So
And he's not
just
necessarily
not
world class.
not the player that I think Napoli can use. And
I think so too.
I would love for him to go, to be honest. It'd be a nice, like a fairy tale story. He goes there with Insigne.
It's gonna be a fairy tale when he doesn't score
Tutti
goals.
Napoletani.
He's very sentimental.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you,
So sign a kid on the streets as Napolitano for signing anybody from Napoli.
Let's not get crazy over here.
Ludo,
There's a lot
you
of
go
money.
play.
There's a lot of money over here. But right now, goal scoring is the least of their problems. They're doing good, so you shouldn't tinker with that.
No, we never had a problem scoring goals. We
That's
have a
what
good defense. We have a good goalkeeper.
And he
We have
fits better
a
at
solid
Lazio right now,
midfield.
so-
Napoli is a very balanced team, and it's always a pleasure to watch them. It's like
It's like a theater.
The
show
only
or something.
question
Like
mark to
when you
me,
go to
Ludo,
Broadway.
the only question mark to me about Immobile, on the big stage, he chokes. Like say, he plays on the Italian national team, doesn't come true. Like Immobile, in the Italian national team, nothing. It's nothing that you can say, oh, wow, look at those guys on the Italian national team.
but
They
Insigne-
they disappear. They don't do anything.
It's not just them, though.
They
No.
disappear. So
I
when
agree
it
with
comes
you.
down to the big stage, I mean, all of those spectacular goals on the Campionato here and there, then they just...
Look at Verratti, too. There's so many other...
Verratti is another one of them.
He agrees with you.
Verratti is another one of them. I
No,
don't
I-
understand.
I think
Great
you're right, you're
players
right.
on their clubs,
we're
when they come to
rebuilding.
Italian
We are-
national
we are,
team, they just disappear.
Well,
We are in a
that's why we
rebuilding,
have some good,
process.
That's why we're talking about these young guys who right now are doing
it
well with
takes
their
time.
clubs.
It takes time, and I think FIGC, the Italian Federation, we have like 8 to 10 years to become competitive again. It's a new cycle. You have to start. You have to start from the
scratch,
basement. You have to start from scratch, and you have to start the rebuilding process. It's not an easy generation.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Italy's been used to always having great generations. From the 60s on, Italy never had like that bad period.
No hiccup.
There was a lot of great players that played
Correct.
from 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000. And then all of a sudden now it's come to a point
From
where
70 on until 2004, every 12 years we either made the final or we won a
on the
World Cup.
Yeah. So it's something that we've always been lucky to have as far as Italian and Italian soccer. But now you see these players that we had within the last 5 or so years, and these players, like I'm sorry to say, Immobile, I think 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he doesn't even get to go to the national team. He doesn't even get called up.
Well, before
So it's
probably
that
right.
much.
we won
He's not the world-class player
Remember,
that-
we won the 82 and the 2006 World Cup because there was a block from Juventus.
Yeah.
Now you don't have this block. I mean, the Juventus players on the Italian national team, they were playing in the hardest position. They were occupying the hardest position, the important positions, not the hardest. So now you don't have that anymore. Now even Juventus, look who they have forward.
They have nobody from Italy.
Exactly.
Well,
There's nobody from
Bernardeschi's the
Italy.
only one, and Bernardeschi is the
Those
one
who
who's
get
trying to
signed.
break in. Anyway, we have a lot of young talent that hopefully turns into and materializes into something.
And the
that we could see.
competition that they're going to be giving to some of those established players that they think they have their place carved inside of the field. That's what I think I like
Listen,
the best. That
these-
Mancini
these-
is going to make them work for their bread.
The young players, they got to work for their position. Nobody's going to give them anything. So we'll see if they live up to the hype that they have right now. Anyway, good episode, Ludovico.
Thank you so much for having
coming
me.
on. Antonio, the Juventus shirt. I mean, I think you speak wisdom when you wear it, so I think you got to wear it every week.
And looking
And then
forward to
you're-
the next round.
Yeah.
of the
We'll
Serie
go
A.
forward to next week where I think you're
Milan
going to...
versus Napoli.
So
right?
should we put you in a Napoli jersey?
Well, if
Napoli-
if Milan wins, you're going to have to wear AC Milan shirts.
No.
For-
If Milan,
Those are the
if
pizza
Milan
ones.
wins, right? If Milan wins, I buy pizza for everyone.
Everybody.
If Napoli ties or Napoli wins, you buy pizza for everyone.
It's okay. That's a deal with me.
That's a deal. But I don't wear any other shirts.
I have to wear AC Milan shirts.
No, he didn't say that in the bet.
He doesn't want to agree to that.
You
That
look
was not
good,
in the
Ludo.
bet.
You look good.
I'm royal.
Be careful when you're sleeping. He's gonna try to break in.
What are you going to say?
It's got some good future that with AC Milan shirts is gonna look good. You can try one.
Nice.
Try with the Beckham shirt. on.
Red and black.
I'll get you a Cassano
Black
shirt.
and, red.
I'll get a Cassano shirt for you with AC Milan colors on.
Black and red. I'm a royal guy.
Royal guy. What does that mean, royal guy?
Right.
I'm a royal guy.
Oh, Napoli.
Napoli. I love the sky and I love the ocean. I'm a romantic.
Listen, guys. On this,
I'm a romantic.
on this note, are we still do we still have the sale?
This is the last day.
This is the last day of the sale. Keep buying the shirts. You
Yep.
have it on, all right? Don't buy this one. Here. Buy this. Okay? Okay, buy those shirts. And
You got to keep wearing that Juventus one.
keep rating our podcast with
Rate us
5 stars.
on the Facebook, Spotify,
YouTube.
we're back on Instagram.
YouTube, not yet.
What
Not
the hell
yet.
is going on?
Not yet, soon.
We're gonna get back on Instagram very soon.
Yep.
And thank you for Ludo to show up. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
Peter.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
How about for us?
Thank
What about
yourself.
Mike?
Thank yourself.
Thank you. Thanks to myself and thanks to Mike and Marco.
Guys,
All right.
anyway, thank you for watching. As always, rate the podcast and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao,
Ciao,
ragazzi.
guys.
Ciao.